This is AV SuperFriends On Topic, a 30-minute monthly roundtable focused on a single topic. This discussion will be opinionated, to the point, and saturated with our well-known blend of painfully won expertise and deeply ingrained immaturity. For October 2023, it's the best-sounding podcast in higher ed AV. This is the AV SuperFriends. Broadcasting live to tape from coast to coast, easternmost to westernmost, northernmost to southernmost, gate post to hitching post. I'm your local host who can boast the most milquetoast and utmost humility. I'm Chris Decter, and it's time for another Friday afternoon podcast adventure. And let's say hello to today's panel of AV SuperFriends. Today I'm joined by a central group synergist from Corvallis, Oregon, Mark Kolozinski.
Hello.
A dynamic accountability coordinator from Greensboro, North Carolina, Larry Darling.
Howdy.
And a senior tactics liaison from Bowling Green, Kentucky, Justin Rexing.
What's liaison mean?
It's dangerous.
Jobs. I love it. So many new jobs.
So on today's show, we're going to discuss how to respond to increasing budget challenges in our classroom standards, or something along those lines. But first, nothing. We don't have news to talk about, so we're going to go right into that. So,
saving time.
This
design challenge.
This is, I'm going to be honest, this is an alternate show. We had another show planned. We're not there yet. Nobody spoil it. But that's coming soon.
It's coming.
But so this show, we're discussing kind of that ever popular, like, how low can you go in like building a classroom for somebody? When someone says we need a no frills, no bells and whistles, but we need a regular classroom, just a regular classroom. And as things have gotten more expensive in recent years, there's that question of, at which point do we reach a threshold below which we are not comfortable trying to support, install, maintain any of because you can go into, how you phrase it, Mark, you can go into Widget Fest.
Yeah, this might get nasty.
Tchotchke Town and Walmart Blue Light Special. Actually, it's Kmart, but the J.S. Kresge Blue Light Special, but we don't want to do that.
No.
So the question is, if we're doing a room, if we're doing and whatever this means to you, a general, everyday, normal 40 by 40 rectangular with tablet armchairs classroom, let's talk about that. What is, in 2023, what's kind of our baseline below which we are not comfortable?
Yes.
Classroom
moving forward.
limbo.
Yeah, and let's not say, what's the cheapest way? That's not. I know we all know how to get things done. That's not what we're asking here. I'm going
to write this down.
Yeah, audit this. I'm coming to your campus, and you're going to show me this room. All right, I want to see it on tour, not like, how cheap you can get it done. Because we all have those closets that we're not going to let somebody into. But something that you're going to say,
I'll let them in.
This is real, and you stand by this capability. You're not embarrassed of it. Like, what is it going to? How low can you go? Where can you cut the corners and still have something that you're going to support and you're going to stand by? Like in that. We're going to get into it.
Do we want to talk capability first? Like
a little bit, yeah. I think it's
what is the space doing? And again, in 2023, because Justin, I know you're going to say people are only expecting a projector with a VGA cord hanging from it.
Well, close. So our lowest supported rooms, and this all goes back to this stupid rant model that you hear me talk about, where everybody
I've never heard you mention this.
And it's their furniture, it's their AV, it's all possessed, and whatever. So, anyways, we have a lot of lab spaces where it's projector or HDMI cable or HD-based T transmitter receiver, and there's no sound. Okay. That's it. It's just because
let's take a look at that.
Speakers in the projector or not?
There is.
Because I have spaces on campus which are filled with asbestos that I ended up using the speaker and the projector.
Yeah, we've all puked a little bit and done that.
Don't intentionally do that.
I don't intentionally either.
So Justin, are you putting forward that audio playback is part of the capability? I'm willing to say yes. We want to have some audio playback in our base capability.
So let me back up with when I put.
So you're saying we're focusing only on we only want the V in the AV. We don't care about that A.
They don't care about the A. So I did not pay attention to any standards that I designed to if I'm leveraging the projector speaker, right? So that to me is the audio is not present.
Okay.
So it's not there.
You're the V group.
I'm drawing the line. If I am going to do audio, we're going to at least do
cut his work in half. Boom.
Yes.
That line between the A and the V.
We're twice as efficient immediately.
What's that called?
It's called V. Where do you work? I work in the V department. I work in V at WKU.
Taint
We
A
just
and
do
taint
video.
B. Okay.
We don't care about audio.
I'm going on record and say I think you need to have the audio, and I would say
I don't disagree.
I don't. That's a bold claim.
I don't disagree. It's just
I'm trying to get us there.
Sometimes I'm forced to do things that I don't want to do. But we can support the projector. But somebody says, we can't hear anything.
Like, with straight face, take me in that room and say, "Here's a good example of what my team can do."
Yeah, yeah. Like, look at our genius. Look what we did.
Okay.
Because our hands were tied and handcuffed, and our legs were strapped behind our back.
What is happening over there?
Beat with a stick, forcing us to do it that way. That's the problem.
That sounds horrible, man.
That's not the exercise.
Oh,
I would
are
say,
we gotten off topic on the on
What
topic?
year do you guys work in?
Okay. Anybody? Am I alone on Audio Island here? We think you need to have some level of audio reproduction
I do
capability in this
think
space.
that.
Okay, but let's
I'm
just
just
go with
saying
that.
what
Let's go with
reality
that.
is on what we do on a campus. It's
I think audio is important to an
it's
AV
vast.
system.
Yes, it is important. I'm not saying it's not.
Y'all have convinced me. I'm on the team. I'm on the boat. So.
You're on the V boat.
So we got that capability. We're gonna have some audio. Okay, well let's talk about this infamous V side of this equation. What does that mean?
Are you asking me?
I don't know if we can afford
Justin,
it.
how many rooms do you have that don't have any V? It's only A.
It's only A. Yes.
We have a few rooms like that. It's only
you got your A and my V.
Yeah,
you got
we
your
have
V and my A.
We actually just changed it over. We built an audio system for a dining hall for a cooking classroom.
Oh Jesus!
And they wanted to just have microphone, and then they realized it was terrible.
Is that a 40 by 40 classroom with tablet
No, it's like
armchairs?
50 by 50. It's pretty big.
I think we lost the spirit of this debate.
Yeah.
Do you ever go in like in the summer and change those rooms? So the rooms that were V only are now A only, and the rooms that were A only are now V only.
That takes way too much effort.
And we call that cross training. So
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Lord.
so we're gonna have some
All right.
V. How much V are we gonna have? What are we talking about here?
all of it.
The answer is the appropriate size. But what is
that's
that?
what I mean. I didn't know what the question meant. Like,
So again, we need some general classrooms, whatever that rectangular size is, the most basic. Imagine the most basic classroom you can, and I assume they're all going to have probably a single display, whether it's appropriately sized for a monitor or a projector, but a single display.
Yes,
And that's it.
I agree with that statement.
And probably one on the lecture. Or is there one on the lecture? I don't know.
yes.
That sounds like an option to me.
Oh,
It does sound like an option.
What too
Yeah.
far?
We have some systems out there without compute.
This is like that scene in Apollo 13 where they're trying to turn on the voltage.
Yes,
and we're seeing
okay.
like,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
over. Back
We
it
have
up.
14 volts. They don't get oxygen, goddammit. No.
here's an idea. Could we design a room based on how many receptacles are available in a power strip? You can use this many things. You get
Justin,
over that.
weigh in on that. I bet you have some rooms.
How many rooms do you have based on power strips, Justin?
We don't. No, see, that's the line. We don't support that. We're not going to have
Don't
support electricity?
the power
That was it.
strips and all kinds of code issues. If it's going to be done, if you're going to want
No, you
video,
misunderstood.
if you're going to
You
want the
missed it.
V,
Right.
by God, that V is going to be done right,
As it should be. Okay.
as it should be.
All right, so we have some audio capability, we have some video capability. Now I think, Chris, you're going to get to the meat of this here. Is we're going to talk about like what is it that's going into that? What are we jamming into that A and V?
What sources are there?
Okay.
A computer.
Yeah. Is there a compute
Is there? Okay.
device?
In my
Most of
like
them.
as low as I would go, I want a computer in
Yes.
I think there's
system.
another part of the equation I have to couch this on first. I think it's the capability of needing or coming to the conclusion you need that computing device. And I would say collaboration ready or not.
Well, we haven't even gotten there yet.
I know.
Whoa, you're
I can't put this in
skipping
front of
way
me.
ahead.
I know.
No,
I know.
not yet.
Okay.
Too soon.
Okay. Well,
We haven't even hit the user interface yet, man.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
User
there is no user
interface.
interface, dude. No.
There's always a user interface.
It just depends
Even
on
that
if it's
the
handheld.
It's all
is a
gestures.
user interface. There's always a UI.
There's a
Okay, back-
connect
is
in
there?
there, and you can just.
Guilty for running forward too much.
Well,
So,
that is the UI. That's
we
the
going-
user interface. Your air is the UI if you're doing hand gestures.
Well, we
or
haven't finished talking sources. Larry
Yeah,
said
let's
what
go
sources.
sources. Yeah, let's go source.
Source.
Capability.
So
Go ahead.
are we all in agreement that there should be a computer, or you're doing it wrong?
Yes, I'm going to go on that.
I'm
coming
right
with
now.
Chris, but
As of
we have
right now.
rooms without computers.
I'm not saying we don't. That's not the
I don't
question.
have
The question is
classrooms without computers
okay.
yet.
The question is general classroom, but we're trying to like how far can we crunch this down? Are we going to spend $700 on a basic computer?
I
sorry,
think
a basic computer.
as of right now, yes.
Yes.
We're speaking of like standard capability of an everyday teaching and learning space. There is digital capacity that must be provided, and that is delivered by way of a computer.
And I know there are people listening right now, again, yelling at their car stereos. Please move over for that guy behind you. He's been behind you for 3 miles.
Yeah, you gotta go when you're on a highway. Move.
Yeah, don't park in the left lane, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Right lane.
there are people out there saying, no, we're BYOD only. Yeah, good for you. You're doing it wrong. Good for you, but move over. I'm going to spend the $700 and put a computer in. So
Unless
And
yes,
you
they
just
are.
offloaded that expense.
We've talked about that before.
And you
Variable of-
increase your support. And if for everyone arguing that, well, it's fine. They know how to do it. Yeah, great. Okay, sure.
So
whatever.
we leverage. We need a wired high speed connection for our computing capacity in
Good
the
point.
space because
Yep.
there may
Wired.
need to be time to time when people, I don't know, they're gonna
Network
they're
for-
gonna go to YouTube and watch videos. It happens. I know you guys, that sounds blasphemous, but guess what? Walk into any classroom
Or
nowadays,
Netflix.
and you're seeing it. So okay, anyway,
Or even just from the
Netflix.
idea, and you know, we were talking about this before the show started, but we were talking about network security and identity. People are logging into these computers.
that's right.
So
now you need a
they need
keyboard?
that. They need that all in. Yes, they need a keyboard. They
And
need
a
that
mouse.
all important connection that's always there and always on. And Wi-Fi. Yes, I know you can log into a device with your profile set, except when it decides it's going to randomly drop, and then good luck with that. So
Just some updates.
So, just out of curiosity, we did say that the desktop monitor on the instructor station, assuming there is an instructor station, is a luxury.
you guys said that. I didn't.
The security
What?
side of me, like,
This is-
kind of takes offense at that because you're having the instructor use the projector to log into the machine.
Yeah.
And I will admit I have done that in the past, and people have complained because it is awkward that the only display in the room is the thing I have to turn and kind of look at as I'm logging in. And I get where they're coming from.
In a conference room play, which is not this, I will do that. I will just have
Yeah.
a computer just
Well,
latched
yeah.
onto that, and that's all you get. But in a classroom, if I'm doing a computer, it's going to have a display A. Yeah.
Good.
So that's a good question. In a classroom, we're putting in a computer. There is a display with it, correct? Are we all
Correct. It's
we're all
part of
going
the
to go
bundle.
all in and spend the $124 on that 22-inch monitor.
The
and blow
question
that-
is, though, are you going to spend
shit.
another $125 on the arm mount to make it even more convenient?
Well,
Would you
into
just
that
get an
shortly.
all-in-one and be done with it?
Oh,
No,
shit,
I'm not
Larry.
going all in one. I will not go that far.
No.
I don't like those. No.
I like the concept of those, but there's always a challenge with them.
They're
Whether
never
it's
quite
whether it's a
right.
Dell, HP, iMac, whatever it is, there's always some problem. Again, I like that concept. It's just the monitor with the thing. But
It's all the things you don't quite want in the way that you don't quite need it. Yeah,
And then there's
Computer
3 USB
plus-
hubs hanging off of it.
exactly. Which are like always in a weird spot. They're never where
Yeah.
you want. It's like, why is it on the top?
like
of the
taped to
to
the
be
back.
to be fair, I have that same problem with the little mini PCs that I buy for $700. Is the first thing you have to do is put in the
back.
USB hub. So anyway,
Okay, anyway, so we got some compute.
what about that BYOD capability? What sort of are we providing a wired connection for someone to bring in a laptop, tablet, smartphone, whatever it is?
That's next level. It's like
This is a meta
luxury,
conversation here.
that's- that's expensive. So that's you got to have a little bit more pocketbooks for that.
Yeah, if I'm cutting costs, I would almost drop the laptop connection before the dot cam.
Use Zoom.
Whoa,
Use Zoom.
whoa, Mr.
What?
High Roller
What?
over here.
Yeah.
Dot cams.
Dockcam USB dockcam for $50 though.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then
the
we're
pocket
good.
special
Oh,
one
so
you
now
have?
you're
Piezo.
cheating. You're sneaking .cam in under compute.
Pocket dockcam.
Pocket
dock.
Pocket dockcam.
Oh man. Okay. So going back, I lean toward, if I have to draft one here, I'm gonna take HDMI connector. I really want that for my BYOD.
We just talked about this, Mark.
I know, but
Zoom and Teams.
Zoom
and
hey,
Teams.
we didn't get you guys. You nixed me on collaboration ready, so I can't
No, it
make
doesn't
that
have to be
assumption. Right
We
now.
haven't
collaboration.
gotten
You're not
there
using
yet.
a mic and
The
camera.
guys are
Just pop
jumping
Zoom.
ahead.
I
Just
haven't
pop
nixed
Zoom
it.
open on the computer and share your screen, mute the camera and mic. You're
I'm
done.
all in on that.
Next, you're going to say you just aim your USB only $40 .cam at students, and you're good enough.
There's way more money in Oregon than Kentucky, y'all. I'm just saying.
constantly
They got
higher
money
out here,
for
man. Come on.
HDMI cables on top of lecterns up there.
Fancy
Watch out.
HDMI cable. I would go HDMI before .cam, but I'm interested to let's put this on trial here. What do we got? What's
Dock cam's less expensive because now I don't need as much back
But I think your
end
infrastructure
stuff.
is the same. Getting it up there.
No, it's not.
It's not
USB. USB dock came into the computer, dude. Come on now.
All right, I'll give you that. That's
So let me ask this question then.
okay.
Because the USB dock came into the computer is an interesting kind of like sneaky way to side hatch that one.
Yeah.
So I'm not disagreeing that. What about dock cams? So do we need the traditional model baseband video, no fooling source, routable source dock cam these days?
If somebody forces me, then I just give them an HDMI connection.
And that's my question. What if you provided that HDMI that said, "This is for your laptop or whatever weird ass device you want to bring in, including go buy your own dock cam, and you could bring that in and they can plug that in." Is that viable in 2023?
Yes.
See, my concern with that is for the dock cam, I want the USB as a source for my collaboration, which I will have, but my cheapest part or the cheapest way of doing it is just a little webcam, and that's what they get.
Yeah.
Okay.
The user would have to plug in the USB.
Webcam for the dock cam, or you mean for collaboration?
For collaboration.
Okay.
And so
we're not there yet. We're still on dock cam. Put a pin in it.
But I want the dock cam so I get the USB as well.
Who would have thought dock cam would have started arguments today on Friday?
This is like going to be the whole thing.
I want the capability of that dock cam. I'm not willing to give that up. But you guys are like, you're all in on this USB thing, and I'm trying.
I'm not, but I'm really considering it because hey, if I can save, if that's one less port on a switcher, hey.
But there's other ways of getting the laptop to the compute. Sure. There's not other ways of getting the dock cam.
I can aim the dock cam at the screen of the laptop.
Yes.
You know what, Larry? You can. Hold on. Pause.
Oh boy.
iPhone, stack of books.
Bring up
you're talking
Zoom
about
on
your
the
iPhone.
Pandemic dock camera
Share
trick.
Screen, dude.
Into the cereal box at top with some tape on it.
Yeah,
exactly. Okay.
No
I stand corrected.
And the bonus is the bonus of doing that is there's Pringles in that can that you can enjoy. So
Zoomify the iPhone. You'll be fine.
Okay. So
with Pringles.
Bring it back in. So we're going to have some document camera capability, but it may be attached at the hip of the compute. Is that what I'm hearing?
It sounds like it.
Okay,
But that's an intriguing, Larry. That's a no shit intriguing idea.
Well, it's always been there, but
I know
the problem. The ones
because right now I run the routable video
Yeah.
and the USB.
Yes.
But then my question is, maybe we just if they get used to showing it on the screen, is that good enough? Why do they need to route it separately?
Now you're talking about digital fluency, and I just can't even give any instructor the benefit.
We were so ahead
There's
of
some
you all.
support
We did
issues.
this.
Yeah.
We did this before COVID, like during COVID. Dock cams everywhere.
You're saying
Like
you were doing
Oprah
it
with
before
dock
it was
cams.
cool.
You're just riding that 20-year cycle, like waiting for fashion from like the 80s to be the thing again.
I'm just
over in
happy
Kentucky.
that you all are agreeing that what I did 3, 4, 5 years ago with our team on
it's valid,
campuses.
I don't think
is
any of
valid
us
all
said
of a
that.
sudden.
No, yeah.
I
think a single one of us said that.
misinterpreting this
What?
whole
You're putting
conversation.
words in mouths.
Justin, that's an interesting way to do it. I don't know if I would have done it that way, but that is certainly an interesting way to have done it.
But here we are today saying it's a good idea.
It is an idea.
I don't think anyone has said that.
Nobody has any bad ideas.
You keep saying that. All right. Sources. So we've got PC, some sort of device connection, and it sounds like most of us are on the just provide HDMI and let them freaking figure it out.
What about I think
that?
I was shot
shit,
down
we didn't
on
get
that. Yeah.
I thought we agreed on that.
I
That's
thought I
next
did
level.
too, but these other two said, no, you got
That's
a
next
computer with a
level.
dot cam. That's the luxury.
Because as soon as you do that, you need a controller at that point. And that's like adding the cost again.
Do you?
Auto switch, Larry.
Auto switch, yeah. But
But I'm still on Larry's team here. No
have a
HDMI
team.
on top.
I'm willing to forego that HDMI connector, but
For Zoom and Teams.
nobody driving your damn car right now better say you could simply plug your laptop into the dock camera and it shows up on USB too. We're not doing that. That is not happening here. I'm not going on that hill.
What if we go full? What if we go full room system and I provide a USB encoder that you plug into and it shows up on the computer?
No, God damn it! Now you're building Zoom rooms over here.
I'm trying to use my laptop on the computer. What? I just look forward to that call. And you're sitting on the phone going, wait, you're doing who? Oh, that's right. That's one of those rooms.
We're still not done. We're still not done.
We haven't even gotten through
We haven't
sources
even got
yet.
to the VCR yet.
Yeah.
We got to stay on track.
Blu-ray.
Yes. By the way, I'm just going to ask this: is anyone still installing optical discs or drives in any of their systems, or have we
Optical disc.
But
Only
DVD,
in very
CD.
few
The
rooms.
answer
Not
should be
specialized,
no.
not specialized spaces.
Like-
I mean, in your classrooms.
In a
Music
normal
department
classroom.
has
doesn't count.
theirs.
Doesn't count. That's their
Specialized
problem.
departmentals. Yeah.
And large lecture halls that might be used for movies. That's about it.
Maybe
Movie theaters.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
It's not a normal room.
My large lecture halls run only by USB. You walk in, there's just 4 USB cables there. You pick.
And you can plug them into each other and be done.
Yes, they're all different. I've got an A, I've got a B, and I've got a C,
and then a colored one. You're like, this is not even the right thing. Yeah.
It's like one that's yellow.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly.
Like, by the way, I found that an integrator years ago had done the HDMIs into the back of the DMPS, all with different colors, and yet there were 2 purples. I'm like, thanks, guys. What's the point of that?
This is light purple. No, don't confuse it with pink. It's not the same thing.
Clearly, that whatever pack of colors they bought, they had one fewer than they needed, so they used another one twice. I'm like,
they're like,
so you didn't get the
they
double
went all
strip.
in on buying
got
colored ends,
two
but
reds and 1 green, and then like the 2 greens and 1 red.
Then there's like a white piece of tape over that purple.
just like, come on, that's
why is
purple
the
with
one
white
go to
on
the
it.
2?
Come on,
We're getting off subject.
No, we're not. This is perfectly on time.
Perfect. All right.
Okay.
Any more
that our
sources? We've got compute device. I think we're all on board with that. We've got some sort of laptop BYOD connection. It may be USB, it may be HDMI, or is it completely wireless?
It's wireless.
Son of a bitch.
Jesus.
All right, so let me ask this question.
Teams.
Are we buying a wireless appliance then, or are we doing
no.
a Zoom in Teams?
Oh, no,
Not in this room.
no.
No, that is a luxury.
I'm just
item
glad
for
you
sure.
guys are all on board with wireless appliances can all eat shit.
Yes, they can. Yes, that's a luxury. You know what? Do we have any other sources that are going to be going into this thing right now? Because
I don't.
Okay. So we got the
I'm still
computer.
intrigued by this USB. I don't think we
USB
ever solved the
dock
BYOD question, but
But
I solved it. Y'all are hung
Teams.
up on it.
Yeah.
Teams and Zoom. Larry and I are moving
I guess
on.
I have to be in that line because we talked about it at length before this
We
call.
did.
So-
I'm surprised you're arguing about this HDMI crap after
Okay,
you just
but I
went
just
on
don't
that
think we're
rant
mature
before
enough
the
as
recording.
a
that's my
being
concern.
yet
They're not mature enough to handle it. But okay, well let's move. Let's put a pin in that one. We'll move forward. That we're potentially going. There's no
Jesus
HDMI
Pete,
connection
guys,
for
let's
device,
move
and we are relying on them to use cloud services through software to figure that shit out.
Let's
so good luck.
take a beat here. I'm gonna catch my breath. Let's go to a commercial real quick because I'm gonna get a drink of water.
We gotta
I'm gonna
calm
come
this
back and
down.
I want to talk about the back end of this system when we get back.
You want to what you want to do is stop recording and yell at us more. So
Yes.
tell you what,
So
I'm going to push
talk
this
about the
button to
user
hide the
interface.
fact that we're going to stop recording and
There is
yell
none.
more. So.
Go.
Hold on. Quiet.
There's always a user interface.
It's come to our attention that a lot of you may be missing out on a whole mess of other AV Super Friends content. Here's the deal. If you're hearing us only once a month, you're getting ripped off. Seriously. We have over 100 full episodes of content, and you've heard only about 1/3 of that. We release at least 3 shows every month, and you're hearing only one of them. To get the rest, go over to avsuperfriends.com, and you'll find links to your favorite podcast services like Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, and more. But if you want to do it right, you'll subscribe directly to our RSS feed to get each episode right away. Do it now!
All right, we're back.
Okay.
Mark has spent like the last 10 minutes just
Screaming,
yelling at
opened my
us.
door and just screamed out there. I said, "We're doing it wrong. Everybody, stop what you're doing."
Are we on break or are we
Everyone
still
stop.
recording?
I have
You don't
new
have to worry about
information.
at all.
Stop what you're doing. We've been
Saving us so much
misled.
money.
Are we still in the show or are we
Oh my
taking
God!
a
Yes,
break?
we never left the show. Where
All
are
right.
you at?
Are we still in it?
Yes,
It's all on the it's all on the show, Justin.
we started
You and Paul
recording
Zealy
hours
just
ago.
getting confused.
We
All
don't
right.
have meeting notes. Okay, let's move
Okay,
forward.
so let's move past sources. User interface.
Closure on this, but okay. Yeah.
User
Yeah,
interface.
I don't think we decided everything, but we're going to move on. User interface. Are we putting in a touch panel, a button panel?
No.
Are we giving them a remote? Are they doing
Remote.
some sort of dance? Are we asking them to go stand on a chair in the middle of the room and push the button on the bottom of the
stick.
projector?
If I'm supporting it, I want a button panel. Like I think that's
I would
the
like a button
least
panel,
I can do.
But I'm resorted into forcing remotes in some classrooms.
I
And
want
there's
a
been
metric
some
gathering
people-
device. I want a metric gathering device, and I'm going to go all in and draft the button panel here. I want
I
to
would
have a
love
controller.
to say that. I can't
want
because
it.
we
I
have
need it.
rooms supported that have remote controls at it. But you know what's funny? It kind of proves your point that we need a button panel. That you go back into these rooms and 98% of the buttons are razored off except for like on and off and HDMI 1.
No.
What's happening?
What?
Because
What's
Where
going
are
on
these
there?
razors coming from? Jesus.
there's IT folks in all these colleges,
Running around
and
with
if they get a bunch of
switchblade knives,
problems,
cutting buttons off shit.
well, because teachers will just keep pressing buttons and change settings, so they just
it's governing.
these people
Okay.
just cut all the buttons off except for on and off and HDMI 1 and volume up and down.
You know, Justin, the laptop in front of me has way more buttons than I push on a daily basis,
Get
but
rid
they're
of
all still
those.
there.
You don't need those.
I know. Tell me
You're
about
saying
it.
you're saying you have colleagues who will come around and remove the buttons I don't need.
Yeah. They just come in and like, oh, I don't need the source button.
Do they shove them out of the way and just like, you don't need that. Get out of the way.
We are saving money on laptops here.
What's this
we order
freeze?
ours
Cut
without
that
all the
off.
buttons. Okay. So
what's DVI? Cut that off.
For me, the utility of this beyond switching the sources is so that my support team can turn the shit off remotely at the end of the day when ultimately they just walk out of the room.
And
so
definitely cut off that menu button. You got to get rid of the menu button.
Okay.
Okay, so we're saying some sort of physical device button panel at a minimum. Now, do most of these button panels, are they also the ones that are the all-in-wonder with the control system?
Yes.
Yes. I'm going to go
yes.
That's as cheap as you can do it. So yes.
Yeah. Pick your poison.
Which, for those of us in a zero trust network architecture, limits your control capabilities. So you got to work through that too.
Okay.
Limits it in the sense where you can't do
just do IR everything IR
with feedback.
Much. No network.
So,
it just shoots IR at exactly at each other all the time.
But Justin, there's just a bunch of commies out in the bushes like recording that IR and sending it to Putin, so you can't have that.
Yes, so. Exactly.
It's all unencrypted. Getting their secrets.
The ASCII code. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So we got a controller. We got there. We afforded it. All right. What else?
So we'd have a button panel with an integrated control system processor. All right.
So just so we're clear, through this conversation, we just said that C is more important than A. Just so we know.
A before C, except after B.
I stuck to my remote. I'm just saying.
A before, what was the phrase? A before V, except after C, right?
Where does R fall in? Or is R under the C for control?
Oh, boy.
Remote.
Just throw in.
Remote's got to be its own thing.
Well, it does raise a question, though. Could you, is it acceptable in some spaces, basic conference room or something, to hand them a remote and say, here you go with a big display and call it a day?
Yes, it is acceptable.
I've done that in
but not in a classroom space.
I don't want it in a classroom. I don't want to be that the learning experience. I just, it's not, I don't know, mature enough. I don't know. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I just don't want that. I don't want my instructor to have to hit all these buttons on a remote.
I don't
you figure it out.
To.
Inputs 1 through 7.
I'll try to talk them into a button panel, and if I fail, then they're getting the damn remote.
What if you tell them a button panel is just a remote they can't carry around?
Then they even want the remote more.
Would you be willing to schedule the projector to turn on at 8 a.m. and turn off at 5 p.m.?
No, you know why?
You've worked in a business school.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because that projector is not synced to a time clock, and come next December, that son bitch is turning on at like 2 a.m. and
so now we're
shutting
talking
off
about network as a luxury?
Exactly. So the clocks on those things get all funky.
Well, I just assumed it would be plugged into the network. And
holy crap! On your network, on your zero trust network, you're throwing projectors on the LAN. Larry, dude,
what has gone wrong?
I was thinking I was on Oregon's network where these things are
Oregon.
Possible.
Anything goes in Oregon.
Where these things are possible.
Yeah.
Yes. Come on,
in the far-flung future,
where we have networks where things exist.
We can do things and stuff
and what have you. Yeah,
I don't know, but Larry, so that's a good question. Let's take it one step further than that and say as technology marches on, we're laser-based projectors and LED-based displays. So if you're doing an LED-based display, why not the same thing? Why not turn that on at 7 in the morning and then you power it off at 10 o'clock at night or something?
And if that
doesn't
was
stick.
And I could get that on our network if I needed to. And so that is a solution that we could go through and eliminate the control, and that saves another $800.
That's another button that one of Justin's guys can come along and razor off the panel.
The guy on his motorcycle listening to this just said, well, why don't you just have the web interface on your compute and just control it that way?
That's a bad experience.
It's a different network.
Is it?
Now
We've had that discussion before, too.
Okay, so
I'm going to run a second NIC on the compute.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Zero Trust says you're not.
It's got a hardware firewall between it. All right. Where'd we end up here?
We got a controller.
So speaking of network, what about network?
We have no audio, but a button panel is where we end up.
In our rooms, do we provide network switches to either unmanaged, where they're just sending out the existing
network switch?
Hold on. Are we providing this where we need a network switch unmanaged, perhaps that's just extending the campus network, or managed because we've got specialized traffic or something? Does this basic system need a network switch?
No.
Okay.
We can't extend the network by the network rules.
Depends if the button panel needs PoE or not.
PoE.
That would be
you
the
guys are
only
the ones that all said you need a button panel that does a processor, and I'm pretty sure almost all of those are PoE these days.
I don't know if I
PoE
need a
injector.
switch. I think you're asking me a weird question of needing that switch. I don't think that's the question. I think network capability, yes. I'm going to say there needs to be. I need like a couple ports down there.
Okay. So it would be cheaper potentially to say, instead of needing even a small switch, I just need, say, like, probably 4 ports at the teaching station.
That's going to sound crazy to Justin. I can.
That is more expensive than a cheap switch.
Oh, I know.
It's because you guys buy your network by like the bit, so it's expensive.
How
Now,
much
if I don't have
this?
the port capacity, then yes, go ahead and give me a small switch.
Well, I'm just asking if this is the basic space. I mean, are we? Because I mean, I can save money to just when I can save right now and say I need 2 ports, and then I put a switch behind one of them, and then I have as many ports as I need. But I'm buying a switch to do that.
And
But if you had 2
network
ports,
police are
one
coming
goes
over
to the
like, what is
computer.
this switch doing in here?
Yeah,
Get that out
one
of there.
goes to the computer.
It's doing what
you
they're
know.
supposed to be doing, but that they don't do. So I do.
One goes to your button panel.
Yes.
Put it on the enterprise network.
Okay. So I'm going to say, yeah, there's switch capability of delivering network to the endpoints. That's
What
very
endpoints?
legalese, I know, but yes.
There is no
and
endpoints.
I think
We don't
that's
have
also
any-
something we need to look at is what, when we get to the end, how many devices do we have that are on the network, and that may inform this question. Larry says 2 only.
2.
So.
Only
We're up
2
to
at
2
this
so
point.
far.
Whoa,
We
okay.
don't have any
So
endpoints.
you have your button controller and your
And the
display.
PC.
Oh, well,
PC.
that's where I'm going to differ with you. My PC is not going on my network switch.
Well,
we don't have
that's
a
why I
network
want the
switch.
ports. I want 2 ports at the
ports.
lectern.
Okay.
What is your
That-
network switch doing, Mark? What's it connected to physically?
What isn't it doing?
It's so I have 2 different VLANs, right? We talked in depth about collapsing VLANs, but currently
Right.
in this type of configuration, I'm going to have 2 VLANs. One is doing the things on my control VLAN, and then the PC, the compute, is plugged into its own spigot, not on my switch.
So what
Dumb
else
switch,
is
not
plugged
managed.
into your control network besides the button panel?
Potentially that display.
So you're not going to run your 232 right off that button panel to it and keep it off the network.
232.
32.
I'm running my 232 and keeping it cheap.
Thank you, Larry.
Okay. Yeah.
Here
But
we
So
I
you're
go.
like
saying-
232.
By doing control over RS-232, we don't need that be on the network. That is both a security thing, and also we don't need an additional port or potentially a switch.
Boom. No
So-
network switch.
So you're saying, do you have network to your sync, your display? Yes or no?
No.
Running
No.
them dirty.
We never do that, really.
Well, but it sounds like Larry's doing it, probably embedded 232 over HDBaseT, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
or-
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's what I
Or
was
AV
planning
over
on.
IP. Even if we have AV over IP, we're doing
How are you
We are
doing
not
AV
doing
over
AV
IP
over
when you
IP.
don't have
Not
network?
Not in the basic classroom. I'm just
talking,
saying,
we are
generally
talking about the budget menu
speaking,
here, buddy.
It's off
I'm going to
topic.
make
Sorry.
a list of rules and hand these to you.
It's off
value menu.
topic.
I know it's off topic. All right. Yeah, so why not? Let's talk transport.
Okay.
Transport, so primarily sounds like from our teaching station area
HDMI
to
cable.
the one display, which we've decided on. Are we going baseband HD-based-T? Is that the most economical way still in 2023 to do that?
No, the most economical way is some proprietary stupid thing for like $75. That's point to
That's
point.
not
That's non
supportable.
HD based T.
No.
But you're not going to support that.
Okay, so we're gonna
Yes,
we're gonna
like
draw
it,
the
I
line
would
there.
like it to be HD based T. That's what I
So
want to
HD
go
based T, so you can send the serial up, so you don't have to pull a whole serial line all the way through, right? Is that what you're
Which
doing, Larry?
Larry just said, yeah, he's breaking
Yeah.
that
Okay.
in and
There
out.
you
Okay.
go. All right.
Okay.
I can agree with that.
Larry's on board with that.
with. So one input on that HD based T thing, one I and one O.
Yes.
That's what it sounds like. Well, you don't even need the O if you've got a modern projector that has that built in.
True. Yeah. True.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oddly enough,
Yeah,
on
you don't-
displays, you have to get like the tippy-toppy version of those to get the ones with the HD-based-T, which I still find strange, but whatever.
Arguably, right here, somebody's screaming, "What about your A? You guys
We
talked
haven't
about
gotten there
V.
yet.
What about the A now?"
We didn't have any A.
Did we solve all
We're having
the...
some
So
A
before we
here.
get there, did we solve all the transport for V?
Sure.
I think so. Okay.
I think at a bare minimum, yes, you're getting there.
All right, now A. So what are we doing for our A, which Justin does rooms without A, but the rest of us do
Right.
need A.
But he feels guilty and dirty about it.
So what I do in my standard classroom, if it's up to me,
Nope.
and-
Nope.
and
That's not
somebody
this room.
doesn't
This
crush
is like you're
so
willing
bare
to send somebody
minimum,
down
my
to support this
standard
thing.
that I would like to see is more of your variable audio out of the projector hitting
Okay.
an amp,
Okay.
and then that's
I'm
that.
with you. I'm
And
right
that goes
there
back
with
to
you.
that remote,
Yeah.
right? So
I'm with you on that.
Why are there remotes again?
You got to control.
But they don't have all
audio.
the buttons. They're all shaved off.
Yeah, the buttons have been shaved off by some IT guy.
Volume up, volume down, power on, power off, and HDMI 1 are the only ones that
They
work.
shave off the volume down, so once you raise it, you can never lower
Yeah, you
it.
can never lower the volume.
You tell them you have to go around the horn. Just keep going. It'll
keep
kick
hitting
around.
Input. Got it. Okay.
Like, I agree that's the cheapest way of doing it. My only problem is usually you're dealing with those small amps that might need to be fixed or something in the middle of class, and now you're pulling out a ladder.
Whoa.
That is.
Yeah, and
issue,
I agree that's how I'm going to do it. I won't be happy about it.
Larry, you're not pulling out a ladder. You have a staff for that.
Okay, so let's dive on that little bit of a grenade for a moment there. Amps that need to be fixed in the middle of a class up in the air. What type of amps are you running up there? What's going on?
I think he's
Mine
saying
are
for
pretty
convenience, he's
passive.
putting the amp at the.
I'm with you. Yeah, you're strapping it up there with your projector. You're taking a little 1/8 inch out. Most
It's going to
likely
be
going
very rare that you have to do that, though,
Yeah, it's
Larry.
very
If
rare.
It's
a
going to
really
be
stupid
very,
amp,
very rare.
Okay.
But we've all experienced your tiny little amp of any manufacturer that at some
You know what
point-
I would do?
It's the power supply. It's not the
Just
amp.
carry around those computer speakers with you.
But
And
that's
if
up
your
there,
amp
too.
goes out, just plug in the computer speakers to the computer, and then come back whenever class is over and swap the amp out. You're done.
Can I interest you all in some mechanism to control power strapped up with that projector?
That's one of my next questions here.
What?
Like some IP-enabled device that has some outlets on it.
But now
that
you're
allows
about to
you
need another network port.
I know.
Larry
Yeah.
only has
I'm
one
see-
network port.
Hey man, I'm trying to look at best interest of my student staff here. I want them to
See-
be able to do something here.
I have
What are
an
they-
IR port available and I have a relay port available. You have to use one of those
Oh, on your HD-based T thingy?
on
button
my
panel.
controller, on my
So you're
button panel.
stringing
No,
that
I think
back to the
what
front?
Mark's getting at is like, what if you had an IP-enabled PDU at the projector?
That's not on the network, and so that won't work.
So then
lose
you
that
need a
one?
network switch.
You guys don't even let me have a little power regulator up
You
there?
can have it if you want to, but
I don't even
want
do
it.
those in my fancy rooms.
That's like a few $100, and I feel like it saves you from having to roll that ladder down there from time to time. But hey, if you guys want to nix it, I'll go in on you. So
Why-
if we can buy,
I have
case
a
of beer
long
afterwards,
stick
then
with
we're
a
good.
hook on it that you reach up to get the IEC and you give that a yank.
What does this power thing
got a
do? Is it
clapper.
is it power
Just clap it
conditioning?
on.
Yes, it dies. We may have decent network, but our power sucks out here. So we
So
have
Oregon's
brown
power is
power and like
terrible.
So we're constantly trying to like revive things and like they'll say, hey, we got an outage coming, so we're like, let's turn things
How
off.
do you
get
know
ready.
you have an outage coming?
They will
Just
tell us.
Like
They
on
schedule
campus,
outages,
or
yeah.
like the whole state of Oregon goes
It's
out.
a smart grid. Let me tell you that.
It's not very smart
they
if it goes
schedule
out
the
all
weather
time.
out there.
They
Justin.
schedule it, and now there's a lot of construction always, and so
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those. True or false? Is there convenience being able to remotely power cycle your sync and your amp?
I don't think
for
there's
that matter?
convenience, but the question is, can that fit in the budget? I would be great. So
I don't know if I don't see the advantage in my fancy rooms doing that.
The
just
justification for that
display
solution just to fix the amp issue that might happen once in 8 years, I don't see the value there.
Oh, it's definitely not for the amp. The issue.
Why do you have to reboot your displays and projectors?
You've never had a projector lock up that's got
HD you ever have
HDBaseT
them lock
going
up
into
and
it?
like get weird?
No.
Okay. Well,
Not over power.
I will take my power supply and go home. Hell with you guys. Okay.
sit out in the hallway turning stuff off remotely.
Students
Mark's
bang, off, yeah.
outside every classroom throwing relay switches, resetting projectors.
But all you people out there, team power sequence and control, I'm with you. So we're not going to lose this war. I'm with you.
Uh-oh. Hey, everybody. Chris here. This discussion went long. Really long. In fact, this particular 30-minute monthly roundtable is over an hour, so we're going to cut it here and break this episode up into 2 parts. The second episode will be released just a few days after this one. Or, if you're listening to this sometime in the future, it's the very next episode in your playlist. Thanks for putting up with yet another episode of AV SuperFriends On Topic. You can contact us with questions, topic ideas, or general complaints at avsuperfriends.com.
Nice work, everyone. Sharp broadcast. Really good. Everyone on the floor as well. Really a lot of hustle. I liked it.
The opinions expressed by the AV SuperFriends are solely those of the individuals and do not represent their respective institutions, organizations, companies, or clients. AV SuperFriends On Topic is an independent production wholly owned and operated by AV SuperFriends, LLC. For the highest quality recording of all of our shows, visit avsuperfriends.com.